Welcome back, teachers. We are now at Chapter 6A, Language Games. The learning objectives or learning outcomes of this chapter are: explain what language games are, justify the role of language games, analyze the types of language games, and suggest language games appropriate for young children. What are language games? Language games are fun and a powerful way to learn any language. They help the teachers to create context in which the language is useful and meaningful. Games can inculcate interest among children in language learning. The learners want to take part, and in order to do so, they must understand what others are saying or have written. They must communicate, speak, and write so as to express their viewpoints or give information. Language games provide a way of helping the learners to experience language rather than only study it. Why language games? Language games provide real learning in a relaxed environment. They enhance remembering. Language games provide learners to learn language without being aware of it and without stress. They encourage, entertain, teach, and promote fluency. Language games provide language practice in 4 skills. They are a welcome break from the usual dull and mundane routines. Learners can learn to interact and communicate in the games. They are a good way of practicing the language. They serve as a model of what learners will use in real life. Language games can lower learners' anxiety level, enabling language acquisition. They are highly motivating, amusing, and challenging, using meaningful and purposeful language in real contexts. Learning styles and language games. Understanding English as a second language, ESL, learning styles helps a teacher to bring more variety into the classroom and reach learners more effectively. Therefore, teachers should realize there are many ways to teach. There are 4 distinct learning styles: auditory, visual, kinesthetic, and tactile. Even though there are 4 distinctive learning styles, most of the games suggested will lend themselves to 2 or more styles. Auditory learning style. These are learners who receive and retain information from listening. They respond well to games that involve repetition, dictation, and music. They like storytelling, dialogues, listening to audiobooks, recitation of simple poems, and karaoke. Recommended teaching and learning resources include tape, digital recorder, radio, video, memory games, quizzes, and etc. For visual learners, these learners receive and retain information from reading written and illustrated texts. They respond well to games that include flashcards and video. They like role-playing, memory cards, matching games, and they enjoy pair work. Kinesthetic or tactile learners receive information using whole body movements. They learn fast when participating in hands-on activities. Games for this type of learner benefit the whole class actually. The teaching and learning resources include touch game, different items inside the bag, charades, crafts, Lego, and so on so forth. In fact, there is a wide variety of language game ideas that can be implemented in your language classroom to embrace all the types of learning styles. Provide fun, and all your learners will definitely benefit from this diversified learning experience. Classifying games into categories can be difficult because they often overlap. Hatfield in 1999 divides language games into 2 types. However, some games can contain elements of more than one type. Linguistic games are games that focus on accuracy. For example, giving the correct antonyms or opposite meanings. Whereas communicative games are games that focus on successful exchange of information or meaning and ideas. For example, Two learners trying to identify the differences between their two pictures which are similar but not identical. The types of language games are sorting, ordering, or arranging games, information gap games, guessing games, search games, matching games, labeling games, exchanging games, board games, role-play games. How to choose games? A game must be more than just fun, should involve friendly competition, should keep every learner involved and interested, should encourage learners to focus on the use of language or meaning than the language itself or form. A game should also give learners a chance to learn, to practice, to review specific language materials. How games help learners learn? Incorporating English language games into the classroom can build interest in the class, put language in useful and meaningful contexts, give learners a break, teach real-world skills, and create a student-teacher bond.